Roman Tinyszin, who is in his home in Connecticut right now. Roman, first of all, let me thank you for taking the time to speak with us on the Pong Positive interview series, and hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Roman, you've got a long history with USATT, currently serving as the chair of the Umpire and Referee Committee. You're an international umpire, international referee. Been a player as well, done just a little bit of everything in table tennis, kind of focusing on the officiating side right now. But you're one of those guys, been around a while, seen a lot in the sport of table tennis.
Yes, I have. I've been involved with table tennis since, I'm going to say, mid 70s. And I've basically came on as a player. I saw down the road that, my skill set wasn't up to meeting the national team. So I figured there's got to be a different way of giving back to the sport. And back in 92 is when I became an umpire. Thanks to Wendell changing the rules on who could be a tournament referee, had to be an umpire.
Mm.
So I became an umpire, and I've basically moved up through the ranks since then. So this past December was 27 years as an official.
Wow.
So
Speak of Wendell Dillon, of course, who's still intimately involved in the umpire and referee circumstances at USATT and does really good job. Another one of the dedicated people that we have in the officiating arena of table tennis. And sometimes I think, Roman, that's one of the most underestimated elements of the entire organization that we have at USA Table Tennis and organized table tennis generally is the people who are committed and dedicated to officiating the sport.
that is true. They look upon us as a necessary, for lack of saying it a better way, necessary evil.
Right. Everybody likes to yell at the refs. That's
Yeah,
how that's American pastime for.
yell at the refs, yell at the umpires. We're there to fulfill a function. I think a lot of players, parents, athletes don't understand what we are trying to do within the rules, and they get upset with us when we don't make a call in their favor or possibly not in their favor, depending on the situation. And that always puts us in the hot spot, in the hot seat, and we try to do the best we can. We as a URC have to try to change that perception with everyone, and it's an uphill battle. You know, Unfortunately, here in the States, they don't want us umpires. You go anywhere else, every match is umpired. They get enough umpires to do it, even if they serve as scorekeepers.
Well, you talk about umpiring and refereeing. Really, it's two different functions. How would you describe the nature of each of those functions? Maybe starting with who the referee is in a tournament.
Well, let me actually do it the other way around, Mike.
Okay, that's fine.
The umpire is in charge of a match that the referee or the chief umpire would assign him to. That is their only authority, is that match that they're assigned to. Anything else that happens, not under their purview. As the referee is in charge of everything that happens at the tournament. They are responsible for the draws. The umpires are basically an extension of the referee, because the referee lets the umpires know what he expects of them at a particular event. And it does change from event to event. It's not just, well, for this one here, we're going to do this. Well, sometimes the rules change and something else happened that now the attention is given elsewhere.
It's interesting because I know that I've been around obviously for a shorter period of time, and have been involved intimately in the big events. The U.S. Open, U.S. Nationals, and I had a really good opportunity at U.S. Opens at 2019 here in Fort Worth to watch Kagan Lee referee that particular event. I didn't realize how much the referee is actually involved. I thought the Kagan did a really nice job at the U.S. Open. But I really did get a feel for watching him and observing, listening, talking with him about how many decisions he was making on a day-to-day basis with respect to the event.
Yep, it's a headache, and not everyone is cut out to do it. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. We ran the ranking events at Westchester. I was not getting to bed some mornings till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 7 to be back at the venue before 8 and doing it all over again.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
so I
full day
mean,
right there.
yeah, exactly. Because I had a roommate that works at, was helping run it, and he at 2:30 in the morning he goes, "I'm going to bed. I can't do this anymore." I said, "I'll see you in the morning." I was up till 5 in the morning getting everything ready, so that when we showed up ready to play the following morning, everything was ready to go. And that's the one thing that I think I pride myself on is I take ownership of the position. And it shows. People have walked up to me, "Hey, Roman, great job, great job, you make things so simple," but they don't realize all the work that goes on behind the scenes that they don't even realize has to happen.
Well, it's like they always say, you don't know how much work the official is doing, and they're doing their job well when you don't know they're there at all. When they're actually kind of in the background because
Yep.
everything's running so smoothly. That seems particularly true for the referee. I've watched obviously a number of elite level matches, and in those, it is I think important to have an umpire in the seat and making sure that the rules are properly applied. And that puts the person in sometimes a rather difficult circumstance because they've got to make game time decisions as the umpire as to events that are going on. The one that that you see come up regularly, and I know this is a touchy subject in the table tennis world, so I'm treading lightly on the illegal serve concept, but it's a super hard decision for the
Yes, it is.
to make. And it is impactful for the event itself. And it really does, highlight how important, having a quality umpire in that position is.
It definitely does. And the only way you get that quality umpire is you have to umpire matches until it's coming out of your face. It's second nature. I'm a former blue badge umpire. I went to Sweden in 2015 in hopes of maintaining my blue badge in order to maybe go to the Olympics as an umpire. And one of the evaluators came up and says, "You did a great job." And I looked at him and I said, "Do you know how long it's been I've umpired?" He goes, "No." I said, "It's been 3 years." He's like, "You're kidding me." I said, he goes, "You did everything perfect. It's because of the sheer repetition of doing it over and over and over and over that you don't have to think. It's just an automatic."
Well, you raise a good point, and this is something that I think that I'd like to get out to other people in the table tennis community. Is you talked about this opportunity to give back to the sport, but the sport has an opportunity to give to the officials as well, and particularly in this concept of as you develop your skill set and move up the ladder to officiate events on an international scale, whether it is world championships or whether it's the Olympics or big events like the one you just described in Sweden. It's a great opportunity to really, for a person to see the highest level of table tennis throughout the entire world because there is this demand to have good officials at each of the events.
That is correct. I mean, like I said, I started in 92, worked my way up. I became an international umpire in 2002. My first major event was I went to the Athens Paralympic Games as an umpire. I've been to Sweden, I've been to Germany, I've been, all over the United States, all over Canada, all because of table tennis. I mean, what a way to see the world. I
It is.
mean,
I've actually talked with several of your colleagues who have explained to me that they've got the opportunity to go to the Olympics and be an official at a big event in Rio
yeah,
just recently, and you think well, that is a kind of once in a lifetime opportunity because of this willingness to dedicate your skills and your thought and your effort to this task, and to get that opportunity to go and be a part of the Olympics is just unbelievable.
well, I was the first deputy referee since Wendell was referee at the Atlanta Games to be in Rio. So, I mean, it's 20 years. Wendell was one of my mentors. So, I mean, I look at it as a reflection of him pushing me. I also had several others. I've had a Ray Covicchio. I've had Manny Moskowitz is no longer with us. I know. I mean, I can rattle off some other names that have pushed me and helped me, but now a lot of them have either passed on or have stopped, and now the shoe's on my foot. That now they've paid it forward to me. Now it's my turn to pay it forward to others, and that's what I'm trying to do. It's
It's a
hard.
great point. It's a really good point. And particularly, I think that in talking with you and others in the officiating arena, that trying to get young people involved, because this does take time to develop the skill set, to get to the international level, and to try to encourage young people who, certainly are interested in the sport and are good players. But this really is an opportunity if you're not of that very, the top 1% to being the elite of the elite, to still give back to the sport at the highest level.
Definitely, it definitely is. I can't, like I said, I can't beat it. I've enjoyed my career. As a matter of fact, just recently, last year, I was notified that I've been selected to the Hall of Fame as a contributor, as an official.
Well,
So,
congratulations for that. And I
thank
think
you.
it's a well-deserved honor.
And everyone's told me the same thing. They've seen me put in the hard work, and it's paid off. I mean, I can't ask for anything better.
I
And
know there's a push on right now at USATT to try to encourage more young people or anybody to really become an umpire. There were, utilizing the online services now in a little different way to try to bring people in, to make it more convenient, more accessible for people to actually become officials and to get involved in that capacity in the sport.
can I make mention that as of May 1st, our club umpires exam will be online. There will be no more send an email to so and so and send an email here. And then, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It makes a
you,
little bit more sense in the modern era. I mean, look what we're doing right here. That we
yeah,
just get online and get it done.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I think, I have to do some work to get to headquarters, which I'm going to do as soon as we get off the phone. So that they can at least start working on it and get it ready to go May 1st. So,
It's great. It's a great addition, and we're looking forward to that. Mark Thompson here with Roman Tinyszin, who is our Pong Positive interview series guest today. Roman, it reminds me that you've seen probably a lot of great players. You've probably seen some of the top players in the history, in the modern history of the sport. And I'm wondering whether there's any matches that stand out to you that you have seen where you're kind of like, whether it was the quality of play that you were watching or the difficulty of a decision that you had to make when you've got these elite players that really stands out to you.
the match that reminds me the most that I had the most fun at was a men's singles quarterfinal match at the Worlds in Dortmund, Germany. I can't remember the two players, but it was a tough match. It went the full seven games, and no hard decisions. The players were all, fair. I had a great assistant, so, but that was one that I enjoyed as an official because I think the quarterfinal matches are sometimes more exciting than the semis and the finals.
It is
And
interesting that someone who sneaks into the quarters, who's playing kind of on momentum and playing against perhaps even a better player, has that kind of drive going forward. And I think I've seen the same thing in some of our elite events. Is that
yep,
quarterfinals series oftentimes does have some of the best matches going.
yep, that, and it's a true statement. I've actually, given the opportunity to umpire either a quarterfinal or a semi or a final, I'd rather take the quarter. And if
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
good quarterfinal match, the
yeah.
players are evenly matched and things. Because sometimes, if you get a surprise that comes in to play in the quarters and he's overmatched, that's not a fun match for anyone. But
Mm.
if they're evenly matched and it's nip and tuck and they fight, they battle, those are the ones that I like to do. Those are fun to do.
Well, Roman Tinyszin, I want to thank you very much for your time today, being a part of our Pong Positive interview series. I also want to thank you for all you do. I mentioned earlier that you're the chair of the umpire and referee committee, and I'm not sure that's another one of these committees that's kind of behind the scenes at USATT, very critical to the operation of the organization. I want to thank you for all the time and effort that you put into that, and for being, a lead referee, lead official here in the United States of America.
Well, thank you and stay Pong positive.
Let's do it. Take care there, Roman. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. Have a
Take
good
care.
one. All right.